understand that as an empath, you have access to higher levels of consciousness, right? So in today's video, I want to explain the different dimensions briefly. So there are times when I would say 3D, and I'll be talking about just the physical dimension, right? 3D is spatial reality. So objects have height, they have width, and they also have depth. And that is just 3D in the physical reality. So I exist in the 3D in this example, and this marker exists in the 3D. However, most often I'm talking about 3D, 4D, 5D, etc. from a consciousness level, so from a spiritual level. So when it comes to pathological narcissists are stuck in the third dimension spiritually, right? They're based in shame and they cannot move past their pride. They did not develop past their lower ego. This is what I also call victim abuser consciousness. Again, all of this is on the Hawkins Scale, the map of consciousness by Dr. David R. Hawkins. So while chosen ones, light workers, starseeds, empathetic people, indigo children, etc. can descend into the third dimension, we have access to higher levels of reality. If you have access to empathy, if you have access to love, if you have access to kindness and joy, then you have access to higher levels of vibration. And this is why when it comes to relationships with pathological narcissists, they are parasitic in nature, because you're dealing with people that are at two completely different levels of vibration. So when they wake up, they're in shame and they can't move past their pride, so they cannot ascend. There is a spiritual barrier right there at the third dimension. And think of a spiritual barrier like a physical barrier. They cannot get to the level of 200 or higher. They do not have access to courage. So what they do is they manipulate, and they will mimic you to make you think that they are like you, but they are not. They have always been stuck in the third dimension. Always been stuck in the third dimension since their childhood years. So what really happens in narcissistic relationships is you descend into the third dimension with the narcissist, and eventually you see where you kind of end up start being like them because your energy is being drained. So you may not always be in the 4D or the 5D, because again, when you were in that narcissistic entanglement, you were in the third dimension. There is no love, kindness, peace, joy. There is no positivity in the third dimension. It is based in shame, can't move past pride. The highest or the most positive emotion in the third dimension is pride. And pride is only positive as you're comparing it to lower vibrations like fear and anger and shame. Pride in itself, or being filled with pride, is not a very good thing. Because if you're filled with pride, like pathological narcissists, then this means that they believe that they are better than others. This is where their superiority and grandiosity comes in. And this is where their rigid perfection comes in. If someone believes that they are better than others, then they won't change because they believe that they are perfect. And again, pride cometh before the fall. So narcissists fall right back down to shame. They are stuck in the third dimension. They're stuck in suffering consciousness. And people that are stuck in a suffering state will inflict that suffering on others. Again, they're perfect. There's no need to change in the third dimension. And this is why you hear me state often on this channel that you have no business in the third dimension. And what I mean by that is getting stuck in the third dimension, getting stuck in shame, getting stuck in guilt, or even getting stuck in pride. So this doesn't mean that you shouldn't feel shame or you shouldn't feel guilt. Again, you're going to feel a whole variety of emotions, but we're talking about being stuck in the third dimension. Because if you get stuck in the third dimension, then you most likely will end up the victim in some type of relationship where you have given your power away to another individual. So, for example, if you were in, again, a narcissistic relationship, then you are in victim abuser consciousness. So if the narcissist is the abuser, then in this particular scenario, you would be the victim. which is why to leave that toxic relationship, you had to get the courage to walk away and stay away. Because when you get the courage to walk away, then you're putting yourself in a positive vibration. You're taking your power back. You're putting yourself in a positive state of awareness. So there really are two types of 3Ds. There is physical reality, which we're all physical beings, right? That is the default. Again, all things in spatial reality have height, it has width, and it has depth. However, most often, again, I'm going to be talking about the third dimension as it relates to the Hawkins Scale, which is being rooted in shame and being unable to move past pride, which the third dimension essentially is being stuck in a low vibrational state, is being stuck in a contracted state of awareness. For example, if you're in a state of fear, then the body tenses up, right? If you're in a state of shame, again, this is not a very relaxing feeling, because shame makes you want to hold your head down. It is when you get to the level of courage, again, that is that borderline that we have to maintain. It is when we get to the level of courage, then we put ourselves in an empowering state when we can go and achieve our goals and have positive relationships and so on. Again, whether intimate relationships, friendships, etc. with other people. So because pathological narcissists are unable to move past their pride, they will not be in a positive state of awareness. So they have embodied a lot of stress, right? They are stuck in a contracted state. And this is why oftentimes when you go around them, it also puts you in a contracted state, right? You will feel anxious around them. You will feel nauseous, because that is the vibration that they are emitting, because we're all electromagnetic beings. We're all sending and receiving energy. And the energy that they are sending are all negative, which is why it puts you in a contracted space also, because that is what you are picking up on. All right, thank you for watching. Ensure that you're liking these videos. Ensure that you're subscribed for more empowering content. If you have any questions or feedback, go ahead and leave that in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video.